Hey guys, what's up? Pastor Jake here. I am on my lunch break, so I'm in the car, got my seatbelt on. Don't worry, I'm not driving. And I'm just getting ready to head over and get a sandwich for lunch. But I wanted to just drop a couple of thoughts for you right now that I really think are gonna help you. So talking to lots and lots of pastors as I get the opportunity and privilege to do, I really like to bring things down to a simple level, kind of boil them down and say what's working, what's helpful. And one of the things that we're seeing across the board with growing churches is they really do three things extremely well. And I want to share those with you in this video right now and invite you just kind of to put these and apply these into motion in your church. So it's three things that churches are doing, or three things pastors and leaders are specifically doing. Number one, they're teaching a theology of growth. Number two, they're creating a culture of growth. And number three, they're equipping their team for growth. So let's go through these one by one. So number one, teaching a theology of growth. What does this mean? So a lot of churches want to grow. They want to reach people. They want to, bring in first-time guests, maybe even want to use Facebook ads, but they really haven't locked in with the why behind the what, or the why underneath the what. And there's a famous video that's kind of been going around the last couple of years, a famous book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. And I think it's really valuable information. And I think for us as Christians and pastors and church people, disciples, right, we need to have that why firmly embedded before we really set out in our mission. And that why comes from a place of theology. It's how we think about God, what God's heart is, what his perspective is. And there has to be a theology for growth. It needs to be more than just, hey, let's fulfill the Great Commission. Jesus said it. That settles it. Everybody then just leaves the church service and kind of goes home. There actually has to be some strong teaching. So I remember when we first launched Joy Church, the very first night, we taught the theology of growth. I taught out of Jonah. And I talked about how God was sending Jonah to the city of Nineveh, and he was upset at Jonah because Jonah was mad about the tree that got burned up in the sun. And God's like, Jonah, don't you care about these people? Don't you care about this great city and all the animals too? That I want to save. And it began to lay that foundation so that from a biblical theological perspective, the people in our church really were concerned with and thinking about growth. So that's just one tip. You have to lay that theology. You have to build line upon line, precept upon precept. You got to get your people understanding the theology of growth, okay? Number two, you got to create a culture of growth. So here's the thing. Vision is on the wall. Culture is in the hall, okay? Vision is where we want to go. Culture is where we are. Vision is what we want to be. Culture is what we actually are right now. And we need to have a culture of growth, meaning that once people understand the why, they have the theology, they're motivated that way, then that needs to seep into the culture of how you do things. It needs to become sticky. The language needs to reflect growth. There needs to be something inside of your people and in the culture that's perceived that really growth is embedded there. And that's the second thing that really matters. And then the third one is this. You got to equip your people, equip your team for growth. So you can't just preach growth, right, from theology. You can't just have it in your culture. There actually has to be some equipping. There actually has to be some tools that are there to help people grow. Now, one of the best ways that we've found to actually equip your people is to do what's called a big day, where you tell everybody, hey, on such and such a day, we're going to invite friends and family and neighbors to come to church. There's going to be a gospel message. We're going to have Facebook ads running. We're going to send out mailers. We're going to use all the tools from the marketing side of things that we can use, but you're also going to go out and invite people. And when you have that theology and that culture, and now you equip people, you're actually putting invite cards in their hands. You're giving them a specific day with specific instruction. I'm talking about momentum, you guys. That is going to be really big. And that's really the strategy, very simply, that we've used again and again and again to see our church actually double on certain particular Sundays by really having our people understand the theology of growth, having a culture of growth, where growth is who we are, reaching new people is who we are, evangelism is who we are, and it's what we talk about, and it's what we care about, it's what we celebrate, communicate about, right? And then number three, we equip people. So that's the three things. Those are three unbeatable moves for you, pastor, to implement in your church right away to begin to catalyze momentum and growth. Now listen, if you want to go further in this, I want you to just click the link below this video and find out how you can journey with me and with lots of other leaders, hundreds of other leaders across the world in this journey of growth, seeing momentum catalyzed in your church. God bless you. Have an awesome day.